Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Dan Hafner. Welcome into this episode. Today we're going to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart, obviously, if you follow me at all. But it is the concept of SaaS, right? And I talk about this a lot, but I really want to drill down today on why I'm so in love with this, why this has radically changed my life, my business, what I offer, and how it can really transform your business, right? Just like the title says of this, ultimately, a lot of companies realize that they are a software company. Like you are as powerful and you can grow as powerful as your software can become, right? And there's a long kind of windy road to get there. But I've seen it happen with a lot of companies that I started with from the beginning as a customer, as a client. And I've also seen it inside of my own business and the clients that I work with, right? And I mean, it's no secret that I've been, well, it might be a secret, I don't know. Um, I'm not trying not to be shy about the fact that I'm all in and I'm just absolutely in love with this SaaS revenue model. If you don't know what SaaS is, it's software as a service, right? Providing a service to someone in the form of software. And why that is so, I mean, honestly, in my opinion, I think it's one of the best business models in the entire world, especially as we move into the, latter 21st century right now. But it gives you, there's so many advantages. I mean, it's not an easy game to be in by any stretch of the imagination, but it's also it just gives you such an incredible amount of leverage. And I see how almost any company, even if you do online, coaching, or you work with people in an individual manner, ultimately as you grow, you get to a cap, right? This is what happened with me. You get to a cap in the amount of time that you have to serve anyone who's paying you or employing you for your services. But you also run into a cap of money, right? Because obviously, if you work with a certain set of clients, even if they pay you forever and they do something with you for a long time, you can only do so much, as a person, as even if you have a small team, there's only so much time that you have, and there's only so much revenue that you can ultimately make, right? And this is where SaaS solves that problem for you, because what it's able to do is help you package your products, your services, the service that you offer, whether you're in the fitness industry, the coaching industry, the marketing industry, the sales industry. Think about CRMs, right? It packages what you provide, what you teach, what you have into a service that is no longer tied to your time. It's no longer tied to your time. Are you hearing what I'm saying? This gives you literally infinite leverage. You can grow this as much as you want. Take my example of the software service that I started called Launchpad. You're watching this probably on Launchpad inside of our membership area, or maybe on Facebook or wherever. But it is a software that I built out of the need I ran into this problem, right? I ran out of time and I capped myself in money because I was working with people one-on-one. Now I still work with people one-on-one. I've just raised the prices and I've lowered the amount of people that I actually work with because I only have time for so much, right? I realized that I took on too many things for too long and I didn't want to do that. I burnt out, right? That's where SaaS came in, and it allowed me to infinitely scale my time, but also to infinitely scale my money. Now, I won't say I've infinitely scaled my money by any means, right? But it took away the need for me to always be present. It took away the need for me to always do everything for every single client, because that's just going to drive you nuts, right? Especially if you're in the fitness space, the weight loss space, the coaching space. You can only do so much for one person at any point in time. It's true across any industry, across any niche that you find, right? So software becomes the logical conclusion to this problem, right? Because it allows you to package what you're doing and fulfill that as your service. And then you just slap a subscription on it. Say, hey, to access this, it's $47 a month, or it's $97 a month, or maybe we have an annual deal where it's $500 for the year or something like that, right? Because it becomes a widget that you sell, and you can sell unlimited widgets, right? And the thing that I often hear from people is that, oh, this waters down my higher ticket offers. No, it really doesn't. And I'm a perfect prime example of this, right? I can still, you know, build platforms. I can still build entire apps, entire things for people, my team and I, right? But we can also, for the people who aren't ready to spend that level of money, for the people who aren't ready to commit to that level of like, I want to start a whole online business SaaS for myself. I just kind of want to learn. I want to test it out. I want to consolidate some things I'm doing. That's where we put them into our SaaS, our software as a service called Launchpad, right? Because for 97 bucks a month, you can get access to all these tools, all these awesome things. It's a do-it-yourself thing, right? We do have these mentoring times where we come in here just like this and we talk and we answer questions and we do all this stuff. But it's still something that where we can provide value of everything that we have, the same tools that we use for our high paying clients, you get access to for a fraction of the cost, right? But it's not tied to my time or my team's time. There's very, very little time, right? There's setup of 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and we make money every single month on that, right? And some people are like, oh, how can you do that to make money on, like, that's how it works. That's literally how it works. And we're always improving the software. We're always adding more value into it, right? And that's the other thing with SaaS is it's super, super sticky, right? I have this in here. You know, it's often hard, um, especially in some niches, to actually sign a long-term contract for something. Now there are, you know, definitely industries out there where you work on long-term contracts and you have long-term clients. I'm talking like years, recurring stuff, those types of things. Government contracts work a lot like this too, right? The thing with, sorry about that. The thing with that is that, you know, a lot of times if you're just signing someone up for you know, a smaller level service, there's really no reason for them to sign a long-term contract with you, right? But the SaaS, the software as a service model, kind of sneakily puts them into that long-term contract without making it a long-term contract, right? So take a Launchpad for example, right? You know, you come in and you start using our software and you see that, oh man, I can put all my business stuff inside here. I can do my website, I can do my funnels, I can do my payments, I do my membership stuff, I can build my app. I have all this automation at my fingertips. Like this is really, really cool. So we see this happen with a lot of our clients. They start taking, oh man, I was using Calendly and I was using all these things over here and I'm putting it all into this software, right? The power of that, and this is where I thought through this beforehand, right? Was that now that becomes indispensable, right? Let me say that again. It becomes indispensable to those people who are using that because, like, if that went away, like, where's their business operating? You know what I mean? Like, they've gotten rid of all these other things. It's all in one place. It's like if you have a family of 20, right, and you all rely on one car. If that car shits the bed, like, you guys are screwed. Like, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? So you got to make sure that that's functioning. You're going to do whatever it takes to make that payment. You're going to do whatever it takes to keep that thing running, to optimize that thing, right? Because it's the single vehicle that you have, right? Now, this is just not only true with our software, but your software as well, right? When you come in and maybe you're working in the fitness space, right? You know, eventually that's the whole thing with getting in shape is eventually you don't maybe need a trainer or you don't need these things, right? But what you can do is you can teach your clients that say, hey, you know, once you get to this point, like you don't want to fall back into into gaining all that weight back. You don't want to fall back into being that lazy person again, right? Right. Of course I don't. Right. Okay. Well, join our membership, join our SaaS, join our app. We have all these assets in here for you. This accountability piece, this community piece, which is super, super important in things like that. And then it becomes a no-brainer. It becomes like, yeah, you're absolutely right. Right. Because I could just fall back into that and I could gain all that weight back and become, you know, fat again or whatever, you know, whatever is going to happen to me. And there's a pain and there's a cost associated with that. And it's your job as the SaaS owner, as the app owner, to say, hey, you know what? If that's going to be the way that it's going to be, that cost is going to be what to you? $10,000, $20,000. Well, you can buy our app for $100 a year. Like, what are you going to choose? That's a no-brainer, right? And then it's not tied to your time. It's not tied to all that stuff. Obviously, you have to come up with the content and the stuff to make sure that that is actually valuable and you're providing even more value than they believe they're paying, right? That's what we do with Launchpad. Like, you know, for the $97 a month, like that should really be more. right? We do have a $297 a month one, which has even more value and more hands-on work and all this type of stuff, right? But we tiered it. So we said, hey, if you're going to pay this, this is what you're going to get. If you're going to pay this is what you're going to get. But we're also going to give you a lot more, and we're going to keep improving all of it. So it's just a no-brainer. So it's sticky, right? It's sticky for you. And the other reason that this just lends itself to just such a smart business model is that you can choose what level you grow at. You can choose how fast you want to scale, how fast you want to grow, how many clients you want to take on. Like you can turn off the tap at any point in time that you want to, right? So whether you offer a free trial in your app, whether you offer, an annual deal like I talked about, or you want to do a Black Friday coupon, or a birthday coupon, or like whatever you want to do, you're in complete control of that, right? And that gives you the ability to say like, hey, we really want to pour in some money into ads now. We want to do a lot more focused marketing on getting as many people into this software as we possibly can, just to grow our bottom line revenue. Or it's like, hey, we got a lot of people in here, and we don't really have the capacity to handle all this, because maybe there's a way you offer one-on-one services, or a group coaching service, or a limited time amount of deals, or whatever you're going to do, right? That's not always the case with SaaS, but there can be ways that you throw in additional offers into there. And you need to hire someone new, or you need to hire a new thing. So you got to like, oh, we got to pump the brakes for a little bit, right? You're in control with that. Like you have you can turn off an ad, you can turn off your marketing, you can do whatever you need to do, because you're in ultimate control of that whatever, right? Another thing why I think SaaS is like a really unignorable model for any business out there, right? Regardless of what you're doing, is that, there are so many custom, like when you have a community of people that are using a service going towards a certain thing with a certain goal, you get a lot of really good feedback. Like I'll continue to use Launchpad as an example, right? So when we have people come into these calls, or they come into, I have one-on-one meetings with some of them, I listen and I hear and I watch them engage with the software and what they're trying to do and how they're trying to grow their business. And that directly correlates to how we improve the software, what we do, how we change it, how we change our service, how we change our offering, right? Because that's directly from the mouth of someone who's actually paying me, right? That's what you can do as your SaaS. You can learn to be like, man, I put like this whole package together of all these things, all these assets, all these recordings, but nobody ever uses it, right? So why would you keep doing that? Maybe they need templates. Maybe they just need more hands-on stuff. Like you can learn that, and then you can build that into your SaaS, and that just only improves the value. Now you have something new to market to to your existing users and to new users who have not signed up yet, right? But it just increases your value stack. It increases like the value of that widget that you now have. Does that make sense? Does that, you know what I mean? So like we're constantly saying like, man, we added in this new feature, and we watch people use it, and it's like, oh, there's this bug here, this thing, and be like, you know what? It'd be really cool if it did this, right? And then boom, we can add that into there, right? And then that just gives us, it's its own marketing cycle, right? We ask for feedback, we get the feedback, we implement the feedback, we ask for feedback, we get the feedback, like it's just this constant continuous improvement thing, right? And you can do that with your own private programs or group programs, or if you're working with people one-on-one, but it's a lot slower to implement, right? Because in that case, it's going to be a lot different. You're going to have different people doing different things, wanting different things. But inside of a software, everyone's seeing the same thing, relatively the same thing, right? So you can know that if I make this one change here, it affects the way everyone's working, and that's a good thing. Like that's a positive growth, not only for my business and how it works, but for your business and how it works, or for your life and how it works, right? Does that make sense as well? So, um, so yeah, I think ultimately, and I've watched this happen with a couple of companies I've been a part of, is that you ultimately really do become, the more you grow, the more you become a technology company, the more you become a software company. And I didn't realize that for a couple of years, even though I was building technology. I realized that my company in and of itself had to become more of a technology company. I wasn't just a freelancer. I wasn't just someone who did these things. right? I was actually a software company, a technology company. I had to find ways to innovate in that and to build what my people needed and give it to them at an affordable price, but also to do that to save my own sanity, to save my own burnout, right? So if you are in that place where you've maxed out a group program, or you've maxed out your time and your money cap, this, having your own software, building your own thing can be a very, very good answer. I'm not going to say it's the answer for you, right? It might not be. It's a very, very logical, very straightforward way to remove that lid of the time and the money for yourself, so you can then continue to grow. You can continue to make more money. You can continue to serve more people, to continue to grow your impact to people who need it. People who need it right now, need what you do to get it out there, right? It's the next logical step. And a lot of times people think like, oh, I need to be, this 7-figure company to have a technology company. No, you don't, right? If you have any kind of piece of software that serves one to many, you are a technology company. You have a technology sector, at least in your business, and that's powerful, right? That's an area of yours in your business that you can focus on to get more people in there, even if you're serving them in a way that's like very hands off. That's what SaaS is, right? It's very hands off. Let them do their own thing. You already built them something. Just sell it to them and let them be, right? Then that gives you a pool of people you can upsell into a higher level program, and then from there even higher. Like it's a value ladder. It's a numbers game. It's all it is. And once those people are in there and they're paying, it's very, very sticky. Like I said, it's you almost have like our churn rate for Launchpad is almost zero. Like, I think we've actually only ever had one person who was like, yeah, I just don't want to use this anymore. And it really wasn't for the reason you would think. It was just like, I have too many things going on. I can't figure this out right now. Like, okay, right? Nope, no skin off my back. Like, it's fine, right? So that's what you can build. That's what you can create inside of your business. And I really encourage you to check that out. One resource I wanted to add for you guys while I have you here as well. I built this and I showed this off into the last couple of people I've talked with, and they've really, really liked it, which is what prompted me to share it. I was just going to say, if building your own technology platform, if doing your own app, your own SaaS sounds like the next logical step for you, how you can get in contact or learn more about that, especially if you want to work with someone like me, you can go to our website. It's dappermobileapps.com. Okay. Um, on that page at the very, very top, not the very, very top, but you scroll down like to the first section, there's a button there. It says go to calculator. Okay. I built this specific calculator. It's an app cost calculator. It's very simple. It's like 5 steps. You just kind of pick the preferences that you have, like a web app, an iOS app, an Android app, professional, polished, how many pages, whatever. And then you can pick the types of features that you think might be involved in your app, right? And what it'll do is it will spit out an exact quote down to the dollar amount of what that would cost to build your app. Now, we build it inside of a no-code platform, right? So therefore, it's a lot cheaper, it can be done a lot faster. But I highly, highly encourage you guys. I don't have a direct URL for it yet. I'm still just working on that. But if you go to dappermobileapps.com, okay, there's a button on the towards the top of the page that says go to calculator. Click that. It'll take you to our app cost calculator, and you can get a very specific quote of what it would look like, it actually in a dollar amount, a very specific dollar amount of what it would cost to bring your SaaS, your app, your platform to life, to fruition. So I'll put that link in the show notes here as well. But you can go to dappermobileapps.com, click on go to calculator, and you can figure that out for yourself. It's really, really cool, really awesome. Gives a very, very accurate estimate of what that could be. All right, guys, that's all for this show. I really appreciate you joining me. Whether you are watching or listening to this inside of the Mobile Domination Podcast, you're watching this live on Facebook, or you are watching on YouTube or in our app or wherever you're consuming this, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. If you wouldn't mind, please go into the Apple iTunes Store or Spotify and leave a 5-star rating for the Mobile Domination Podcast. That is super, super helpful. Or if you're watching this on Facebook, please share this either to your wall or in a message, or to anyone else who you think might really be needing this content or this information. That's really, really helpful as well. Anyways, I appreciate all of you. My name is Dan Hafner. I'm the owner of Dapper Mobile Apps and of the Launchpad software. Really appreciate you coming in and listening to this show or watching the show wherever you consumed it. I will be back soon with another episode. Until then, have a good one.